Starting in Act 2, you will come across Ascension Trials, tests that you must complete to unlock your Ascension class. We'll explain these trials soon, but first let's take a look at what Ascending can do for your character. Each class has access to 3 Ascendancy classes, but at the start of Early Access, only 2 per class will be available. Ascendancy classes are unique to each character class, so choose wisely. They can drastically affect how you build your character. As a sorceress, you could become a Storm Weaver, a master of the elements. Tempest Caller causes elemental storms to be summoned each time you do a critical hit with a spell. With Strike twice, you can stack 2 copies of Shock for more damage, and going deeper into the tree, you can make all your damage types apply Shock. Make a Shock build from any skill. Alternatively, you could...
Alright, I'm going to go over this more in depth about the Stormweaver over on Max Roll here. About Stormweaver and how this, I believe personally, this was why this class or Ascendancy is going to be absolute godly S tier for all you spellcasting elementalists out there, myself included. It looks just too much fun. Now it focuses on, of course, elemental damages. Now critical strikes and status elements, which is shock, ignite, and freeze for the elements there. Now you want to leverage, apparently, like with using spirit gems, because spirit is used to reserve minions and, of course, auras. And if these auras are going to buff I'm sure there's going to be auras already. If they haven't introduced them already, they'll buff up not just your critical strike chance and damage, but also boosting your ailment chance as well in instances of that. And moving forward, you want to stack more crit chance and crit damage for this class to really get more of the benefits out of it. Now, that being said, Tempest Caller, you create these little elemental storms on critical hits, so obviously you're going to want to spec into crit chance as much as possible. And if you're doing that, you're going to want crit damage to capitalize on all that chance to really get more bang for your buck and hit even harder. And it creates a little storms. And you see in the video, it creates these little storms where you crit the enemies, of course, which I think you're crafting brains thinking, okay, there's got to be a way to maybe spec and do area of effect on, excuse me, on those little storms to make them bigger. I mean, it's PoE, there's got to be a way, right? There always is, typically. Now, based on critical hits, the mechanics that we see on storms remain unknown. They could provide additional damage or potential triggers from spirit gem-based abilities. So if they're spirit gem-based abilities, then they're modifiable, which could lead to bigger area of effects and triggering them more often, hence crit chance here. Now, next, strike twice. Target's affected by 2 of your shocks at the same time, but they take less shock duration. Now it stacks multiple instances of shock on the enemies, increasing the damage taken. Now it says the exact mechanics of shock are still unclear, but multiple instances will combine to amplify damage output. For example, 2 stacks of 20% shock will result in 40% increased damage. Very good. Moving forward, Shaper of Storms. All damage from hits contribute to shock chance. Now this sounds very important to your outcome here. It allows all hit damage to apply shock, regardless of the damage type. Now, this mechanic encourages you to diverse builds, you utilizing multiple elemental damage types. Now, regardless of all damage, so you want the fire, ice, lightning, and critical damage too. I said regardless, so you're going to be capitalizing on that even more to get more bang for your buck, get more shock chance, yielding therefore more damage. So this is all I wanted to go through. Kind of yapped a little much. So for all you spellcasters, I believe this is going to be an absolute god tier DPS machine of an ascendancy. So hopefully you like this stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, Scouts.